Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, Episode 3. Now, the first two episodes got corrupted, so they're gone. But essentially, we got Yuta back, which I was missing in Season 2. And he joined our group with Megumi. And we more or less have like the third group, Itadori and friends, Yuta, Megumi, and the new blood brother Shozo. Something like that. Now, I did assume Yuta would join Itadori at some point. However, I did not imagine he would join that early. I assumed he would join later. But that is nice. So, we beat the asshole back. And we are now at Tengen. So this is going to be interesting with the other special sorcerer, special great sorcerer, the lady. Don't really know what her deal is really. But let's see where we are going now.
はじめまして全員の子道真の地受体クソーズ
Side of Zenin, Megumi, descendant of Michizane. I don't know. Curse Room Death Painting. Curse Room Death Painting, Blood Boy. Descendant of Michizane. So, we also saw Ichigo. Was it Ichigo? Oh my god, Itadori. We saw Itadori parents, and to be honest, his mom had like these symbols on the forehead, which sure, I mean, the assumption was that he was also similar to Blood Brother, someone who more or less got created through not Ghetto, but old sorcerer dude, whose name I also don't remember. Maybe Michizane? No, Weather of Sukuna. I assume that she... No, Yuta. Yuta could be. I don't know who the descendant of Michizane is. Sorry.
宿儺の器私には挨拶なしかい
Straight up, I have no idea who the left girl is. Is this? No. Isn't this Maki? It's Maki, right? Right, it's Maki. Best girl.
天元
こいつがこれがこの人が人か天元
君は初対面じゃないだろうつくもゆきなぜ厚生宮を閉じた賢弱に君が同調していることを警戒した私には人の心まではわからないのでね賢弱
Thank you for asking. I am lost as well. Again. I don't know who is the descendant of Michizaki. Can only be it can't even... I'm assuming that Megumi is the descendant of the Zenin clan. Even though Maki is as well, but Megumi is the strong one. So I'm assuming she means Yuta.
かつてカモノリとし今はゲトウスグルの肉体に宿っている術
Okay.
師だ慈悲の剣救済の策か
Oh, that is the literal, not literal translation, but in Japanese, if you, the symbols you use for your name have different meaning, and I assume that is the meaning that these names had. Net of compassion and drop of salvation.
慈悲の剣救済の策か皮肉にもなってないね
天元様はなんでそんな感じなのこいつよくこのタイミングで割って入れるな
私は不死であって不老ではない君も500年をいればこうなる
Right. That is why you always need a new vessel, a new... We had that at the beginning of season 2. I forgot what it was called.
マジでか。
That's the whole reason why the girl died, essentially.
12年前星漿体との
Star plasma vessel, there we go.
同化に失敗
Okay.
して
Was the whole plan not that there was a reason to do that? Because he not only, or they, Tengen, whatever gender, would not only age, but they would lose their more or less reason. They would become some neutral being that you don't know if it's going to be on our side or not. At the moment, it's somewhat on our side controlled. But if you don't feed it the star plasma vessel, it just does what it wants at some
から
point.
老化は加速し
Was that not the point?
私の子としての自我は
Identity as an individual. Okay.
消え天地そのものが私の自我となったんだあの時星漿体がもう一人いたわけじゃなかった
Interesting. It was a whole, I don't know who said it, but someone was like, yeah, we found another star plasma vessel. It's not that bad that, you know, the girl died. It's not your fault to go Joe and Ghetto at the time.
道理で声が増えないわけだ
すみません僕たちはその賢弱の目的と獄門教の解き方を聞きに来ました
Right.
知ってることを話してもらえませんか
もちろんというか
Our exit is disappearing. That is not good. Also, I am hoping, I assume we are not going to get this season, but the big fight between Kenjaku now and Gojo and Sukuna. I am assuming what is going to happen. Don't know the source material. Because he has a goal for Megumi and his shadow ability. I'm assuming that he wants to use one of the shadow creatures, probably the strong one, and take control of that with his soul, Sukuna wants, so he gets a body that is strong enough to house his power and more or less get a full revival instead of having this, you know, quasi revival inside Itadori where he can't really control stuff. And this will also circumvent his pact that he did with Itadori, because he doesn't really need to kill anyone in that 1 minute. He just needs enough time to take control of the shadow creature. Then he's back. Then we have the big fight between him, fully revived, Gojo, potentially Genjaku, if that is the right name, and probably a fully realized Itadori. I mean, I can't wait. I'm hoping we get to see Itadori's domain expansion at some point, because that would be pretty cool.
ところだが一つ条件
And theoretically Genjaku's. We did not see his either at this point.
を出させてもらう乙骨雄太つくもゆき呪体クソーズ3人のうち2人はここに残り私の護衛をしてもらう
護衛
Mm.
不死なんですよね
封印とかを危惧してるんですか
フェアじゃないな護衛の期間も理由も明かさないのか
Yeah, you are immortal. Why do you need a guard? What are you... Why do you need a guard? Is there a way to corrupt him? To more or less take, you know, his personality and get it in the favor of Ghetto? I'm calling him Ghetto because Genjaku something... Already forgot the other names.
では
In that case, I guess we are fighting instead of being like no deal.
賢弱について語ろうか
Oh. Oh. Exposition, okay.
あ
Okay,
の
I'm
子の
here.
目的は日本全土を対象とした人類への進化の強制だ。
I mean, it does make sense. He is the one that was seemingly experimenting on people and curses.
それは聞きました。具体的に何をするつもりなんですか？賢者はなぜあの時天元様の結界を利用し無意天変で日本の人間を全員術師にしなかったんですか？
Okay.
それをやるには単純に呪力不足だ。渦巻きで生成した呪力は術師に還元できない。術式で一人一人し呪力は術師に還元できない。術式で一人一人進化を促すのはあまりに効率が悪い。賢者が取る進化手段は
Assimilate mankind with Tengen. Why? I don't know.
人類と私の同化だ。
あれでも同化って聖書体にしかできないはずだ。
What?
人類と
Assimilate mankind with me, but you can only assimilate with the plasma vessel. So he wants to turn everyone into Star Plasma Vessel, so they then can
聖
be
書体にしかできないはずだ。
assimilated. How is that going to help evolving mankind, though?
以前の私ならね。12年前に進化を始めた今の私なら聖正体以外との同化もでき
What? So you can now assimilate with anyone, which would make you susceptible being assimilated with Kenjaku himself. And therefore he can take over Tengen, can, be even stronger. And then he could transform everyone through assimilation. Oh, the question is why? Because this is, you evolve to be able to do this. Is there a reason? Could have Kenjaku seen this coming? Because he's old, Tengen is old. Kenjaku very old. Does he know that if Tengen does not assimilate before he becomes, he loses his whole personality, he then evolves into a being that can just assimilate with anyone, so he does not, evolve further to lose his personality?
きなくもない。
だがお前は一人だろう。どうやって複数の人間と同化するんだ？
今君たちの目の前にいる私ですら私ではない。進化した私の魂は至るところにある。
Okay, I hope they explain that Kenjaku knew this was going to happen. Because this is a little bit... this is all because Tengen evolved. Because the Star Vessel died. Now, the Star Plasma Vessel died because of the interference of some crazy people that potentially, I'm assuming, God spurred on by Kenjaku at the time. Yeah. And meaning that I hope that Kenjaku had knowledge that if Tengen does not assimilate, he's going to evolve into beings that can assimilate, which has his soul everywhere. Which again means that if Kenjaku assimilates with Tengen, his soul is then everywhere, he can then assimilate, theoretically.
言っただろ、天地そのものが私の自我なんだ。私と同化した人間は術師という壁すら越える。 そこにいてそこにいない新しい存在の形さ。私には結界術があったから進化後もこうして形と理性を保てている。だがもし人類が進化しそのうちの一人でも暴走を始めたら世界は終わりだ。なぜ子としての境界がないんだ。悪意の電波は一瞬さ。1億人分の汚れが世界に流れ出る。先の東京が世界。
I am having a hard time following that. So you are everywhere, okay.
な
You
ぜ
are more or less connected to everyone. So, and you are able to retain your shape and reason because of your barrier technique.
だがもし人類
If mankind were to evolve,
が進化しそのうちの一
if even one went out of control,
人でも暴走を始めたら世界は終わりだ。なぜ子としての境界がないんだ。
no boundaries.
悪意
Evil would spread all to all instantly. So the idea is that if someone Tengen is connected to all humankind, but not to all sorcerers and curses then. And if one of these humans that evolves and is still connected turns evil, this spreads to Tengen, which then spreads to everyone around.
の電波は一瞬さ。1億人分の汚れが世界に流れ出る。先の東京が世界で再現されるんだ。
何のためにそんなことすんだよ。
さあね、これも言っただろう。私に人の心まではわからない。
でもそれって天元様が同化を拒否すればいいだけじゃないですか。
そこが問題。
So he's connected to all humankind. The idea is if someone of those is evil, but if someone is evil and is then assimilated into Tengen, that spreads everywhere. Okay. But seemingly he cannot say whatever, Tengen cannot stop the assimilation for some reason.
進化を果たした今の私は蘇生としては人間より呪霊。
What the fuck? Can you stop doing this?
今の私は蘇生としては人間より
Get his death, obtain curse spirit manipulation. Yes. Obtain idol transfiguration, star plasma death, Tengen's evolution.
呪霊に近い。
Obtain Tengen.
私は呪霊操術の術式対象だ。
Oh, he doesn't even need to assimilate with him. I see.
賢弱の術師としての実力を考慮すると接触した時点で取り込まれるかもしれない。だから私の本体は今構成宮で全てを拒絶している。
その上で声を。
I see. Okay. So Tengen evolved. He's now connected with all humankind, which is only Japan for some reason, but sure. And he's closer to a curse, meaning Kenjaku could come in and he can just control him because he has curse control. And then he can use idol transfiguration as well, if need be. And as soon as one of the humans that is connected to Tengen is evil enough, he can then assimilate Tengen with that evil human, which then spreads to all the other humans. And therefore all humans would then be evil. Okay. So far. So we can spread whatever we want. It doesn't need to be evil. Through Tengen. Like the evolution of the sorcerer. Okay. So that makes sense why he needs protection. He doesn't really know why Kenjaku wants that ability. The assumption is that he wants to spread evil. It could be anything. We don't really know. He's
賢
a
弱
bad
は
guy.
私に次ぐ結界術の使いで構成宮の封印もいつ解かれるかわからない。 なぜ今なんだ。星漿体との同化を阻止。お前を進化させ呪霊操術で取り込み操る。賢弱は少なとも関わりがあるようだった。
Yes.
少なくとも1000年術師をやっている。
Yes.
なぜ今なんだ。私、星漿体、そして陸眼、これらは
The six eyes, huh? Gojo? But the star plasma vessel is gone.
全て因果でつながっている。賢弱は過去に2度陸眼の術師に敗れている。2度目の賢弱は徹底していた。星漿体も陸眼も全て生後1月以内に
Within the months of their birth.
いた。星漿
So the first time he got stopped. The second time he killed both the star plasma vessel and the bearer. So he knows that the evolution of Tengen, if he doesn't assimilate with the star plasma vessel, turns him into this somewhat more susceptible being that he can use. However, the six eyes is always in his way. The second time he killed them, though, and was still unable to do it. Why?
生後1月以内に殺した。
Because the new six eyes emerged.
それでも同化当日に陸眼と星漿体は現れた。
Okay, so they are connected. Interesting. So whenever a star plasma vessel appears, a six eyes is also there. Interesting. And that is why Geto or Kenjaku needed to imprison Gojo, because killing the six eyes did not help. So he wants to imprison him and hopes that then he can stop the star plasma vessel. And if he stops the star plasma vessel, he can then take control of Tengu, can do his grand plan. And just to be sure, he is trying to get the six eyes out, because he doesn't know if the six eyes is going to interfere with his grand plan as well as the plasma vessel. Which is interesting, because he was able, or someone was able, to kill the plasma vessel even though the six eyes was still there.
その後賢弱は陸眼を抹殺ではなく封印へと方針を変え獄門橋の捜索を始めた。陸眼持ちは同時に2人は現れないからね。
So far we assume there can only be one six eyes. Now the question also is the six eyes is not always born with the infinity that Gojo has, right? There was only one other one that had the same combination. So the six eyes is an extra ability.
だが12年
Right. This is when the plasma vessel got killed, even though the six eyes was still alive.
前予期せぬことが起こった。全員当時の介入だ。
I mean, he's a badass. You can say what you want. He did a lot of bad stuff, but he is a badass.
幼虫爆によるフィジカルギフ
I have no idea how all the other heavenly packs were like, hey, you have some kind of negative effect. His effect is similar to Maki-zen. He can't use cursed energy or cursed tools. Not tools, but techniques. That is why he was so strong.
その中でも得意な完全に呪力から脱却した存在だ。
Oh, completely free. So Maki has a little bit? No. Maki has also no cursed energy. Right?
呪縛の力で因果の外に出た人間が
Place them outside of fate. Meaning that this fate is only for people that have cursed energy. So every human has a little bit cursed energy.
私たちの運命を破壊してしまった。そしてそこには呪霊操術を持つ少年。
Right, Kenjaku didn't have that ability. So his ability was barrier technique, similar to Tengen. That is his original ability?
意図せず獄門教以外のピースが全て揃ったんだ。そして6年前、その獄門教も賢弱の手に渡った。
How? How? Are we not exploring how? We know how he got to Ghetto. He pulled a couple strings which he had for some reason. Maybe he took control of one of the characters. If you watch the movie, maybe you even see a character that has stitches. That would be a really good find. Probably Google that later. So, he got the body of Ghetto. Then he used his curse manipulation to get all the other curse abilities. How did we get to the prison cube?
じゃあ死滅回遊は
I did not even consider that. Why? To get more curse techniques? To weaken Tengu? No. Tengen. I don't know why Tengu. Or to have the most evolved specimen he then uses to assimilate. That could be it.
何のために行われるんですか？
同化前の鳴らしだよ。星小体以外との同化は不可能ではないが、現時点では高確率で不完全なものとなるだろう。死滅回遊はプレイヤーの呪力とコロニーで結んだ境界を使ってこの国の人間を彼岸へ渡す儀式だ。それを鳴らしとして私との同化を始めるつもりだろう。
Use the curse energy of the players and the boundaries formed between the colonies.
コロニーで結んだ境界を使ってこの国の
In a ritual to send this nation's people to the other side.
人間を彼岸へ渡す儀式だ。それを鳴らしとして私との同化を始めるつもり。
I don't know. So this is mostly to get Tengen closer to humans. So the assimilation is going to have a higher success chance. It is so the assimilation is going to work. The probability of it working is higher. Okay.
だがこれだけの儀式を成立させるために賢弱自身も縛りを負っている。
Right, but that is the rules of the Culling game. They must approve any additional rules requested under Rule 6 above, except when the rule would significantly hinder. Must approve any additional rules requested under Rule 6 above.
So,
what was Rule 6? Oh, cannot be the game master. What? Why can't he be the game master? This rule does not hinder him. Meaning you could get rid of the game master and the game ends?
一つとして死滅回遊のゲームマスターは賢弱ではない。だがこれは君たちにとって不利に働くな。賢弱を殺しても死滅回遊は終わらないのだから。
Doesn't really matter because if Genjaku is dead, assume, that means curse techniques, manipulation is gone, or the curse techniques. In the end, it would stop the whole assimilation, theoretically, right?
プレイヤーが全員死ぬか、プレイヤーが全員参加を拒否して死ぬか、それまで死滅回遊は終わらない。死滅回遊のルールにある永続はあくまで儀式を中断させないための保険だよ。
となるとだね。お
By spending 100 points, not counting the initial point value assigned, players may negotiate with the game master and to add an additional rule. That is the one they were telling us before. I only somewhat remember the rules. It was like they have to fight each other. Non-combatants are 1 point, combatants are 5, something like that. And if you enter, you become part of the Culling game, something like that. So you can add rules as long as they don't hinder the continuation of the Culling game. I don't know exactly what rules you would add, but this clearly is going to be a big part. We are going to add a rule that is going to make the killing game essentially useless.
僕らも死滅回遊に参加して積木さんやゲームに消極的な人が回遊を抜けるルールを追加するしかない。
五条先生の解放も並行しましょう。あの人がいれば一人で全て肩がつく。
It also means that you can only negotiate. It doesn't mean that they need to agree. Okay, create a rule. Free Gojo. Essentially, free Gojo. That's the whole point.
天元様、
その前に誰が残るか決めてくれ。私が残る。
She was one of the ones, yeah. Was he one of the ones potentially?
有事には乙骨かこの女の協力が必要不可欠だろう。カモノリトシ。賢者がここに天元を狙ってくるならなおさらだ。奴の命を絶つことが弟たちの救済だからな。
私はまだ。
Yeah, for someone who is supposedly super strong, special grade, yada yada yada, you are not doing much. Help, right?
天元と話足りなくてね。いいかな、乙骨くん。
はい、僕はもうみんなと離れたくないので。
ありがとう。これが。
This looks like the prison cube. Is this the anti-prison cube? The prison cube that imprisons the prison cube?
五条悟の解放。
Oh. So there's another half.
そのために必要な獄門鏡、裏だ。
裏？
初耳だね。
裏門ってこと？
そうなるね。賢弱に見つかる前、獄門鏡は私の結界の外、おそらく海外にあった。この裏門を封印することで表の気配を抑えていたんだが無駄だったね。この裏門の中にも五条配をこの裏門を封印することで表の気配を抑えていたんだが無駄だったね。この裏門の中にも五条悟は封印されている。
Yeah, he's asking. Now the question, can we use this to get him out? Or do we need the rest of the prison cube first?
じゃ、これを開ければ。
いや、あくまで開門の権限は表の所有者賢弱のものだ。これをこじ開けるには、あらゆる術式を強制解
The inverted spear of heaven.
除する天の逆鉾。あらゆる術式。
Black robes that can disrupt and cancel out the effects. Did we see the inverted spear at one point? I feel like we
効
did.
果を乱し相殺する極上。このどちらかが必要だ。だが、天の逆鉾は12年前、五条悟。
Oh, right. Oh. Wasn't this the weapon that Megumi's father used?
が海外に封印したか破壊してしまった。
何してんの先生。
国上も去年五条悟が全て消してしまった。
何してんだあの人は。
It is interesting that Gojo, everything was used against Gojo.
去年五条悟
And
が
he's still
全て消してしまった。
何してんだあの人は。
国上の残りは僕がアフリカでミゲルさんと探してたんだけど、
Oh,
海外ってそれで言ってたんですね。
okay, explains
これ
that.
に関しては無駄足だったね。
Fantastic.
手はあるんだろ。ああ、死滅回遊に参加しているプレイヤーの中に天使を名乗る1000年前の術師がいる。
Right, because he was saying something like the ones he marked for the Culling games, they had like a connection to sorcerers from 1,000 years ago, at least some of them, even though the pacts he made with them are null and void.
彼女の術式はあらゆる術式を消滅させる。
Anna Kurusu. Okay. We got a lot of exposition.
地球を消滅させる。
ああ、天使の術式なら獄門鏡裏を開けることができる。
そいつは今どこにいる。
Okay, so find her, open the back of the prison realm, get Gojo out, and win. I mean, Gojo is unbeatable, right?
かわかりますか。
東京の東側のコロニーだ。海遊の結界は私を拒絶しているからそれ以上の情報はない。まずそこから整理しようか。全国等のコロニー、それが日本の人間を彼岸へと渡す境界を結ぶ結界とつながっている。
What do you mean other side?
日本の人間を彼岸へと渡す
So this is Genjaku, because he is the one with barrier knowledge.
境界を結ぶ結界とつながっている。
川や境界をまたぐ彼岸へ渡る行為は呪術的に大きな意味を持つす。
八十八橋の時の。
So something similar to the afterlife. Okay.
北海道が入ってないのは呪術連の結界？そうだ。あの地はすでに巨大な霊場として奈良市が住んでいる。
さすが試される大地。
Catchphrase issued in 99, okay.
彼岸へ渡すと聞くと仰々しいが、日本にいる人間全員に呪いをかけて同化の前
Everyone, really? How?
で準備をしているのさ。
Because of the Culling game?
儀式が終わるまでどのくらいかかりますか。
回遊次第だが、2月もあれば済むだろう。
After awakening their curse technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within 19 days. Now, these are the rules. The question is, do the players know the rules?
今11月9日の午前9時だ。
Because if you don't know the rule, you cannot follow them.
プレイヤーの術師が覚醒したのが10月31日24時頃。
積み木が回遊に参加するまでの猶予はざっと10日と15時間。
Shall be stripped of their technique. I mean, okay. Don't go in one of the colonies.
天元様はさっき参加を拒否すれば死ぬと言ってましたよね。
ああ、
術式の剥奪か。後追いで参加する術師にも適用されるルールだろ。だとしたら剥奪は無意転変で行われるわけじゃないと思う。使用禁止ではなく剥奪だから縛りでもない。となると脳に無理やり何かしら作用するわけだから、ルール的にも剥奪されると死ぬと思うよ。じゃなきゃみんな参加拒否するだろうし。
So why are you not having a rule that kills them?
翔子さんの読み通りだったが、逆に私みたいなのとか術式持ってない術師はノーリスクだよな。つうかパンダはどうなんだ？あいつ脳とかあんのか？
Hey, he's smart enough. So, if you don't follow the first rule, which, you know, you have to be inside one of the areas after awakening the curse technique. So everyone that has a curse technique is forced to go in one of the colonies. Okay. If you do not, you get stripped of your technique, which messes with your brain and potentially kills you. Okay. Non-players shall become players upon entering a colony, and the entry shall be taken as pledging to participate.
これさ、初めから結界の中にいる一般の人らはどうなんの？
少なくとも一度は外に出る機会を与えられる。
マジ？
随分とし
Huh. I'm assuming that is because of all the rules he had to leave some wiggle room.
親切ですね。
ルールに一つもコロニーの出入りに関する条項がない。プレイヤーに始め結界から出るという明確な目的を与えて回遊を活性化させる狙いだろう。プレイヤーを閉じ込めるにはプレイヤーが自ら望んで入ったという前提が重要だからね。
伊野さんが言ってた結界の足し引きか。
Non-players shall become players upon entering. Oh. The curse techniques, that means everyone with a curse technique is automatically a player. Okay. There's no voluntary requirement here. Tengen is stipulating though that someone entered of their own free will. Which the first rule means that it's not really of your own free will.
という前提が重要だからね。
Unless you count, hey, you had a choice.
伊野さんが言ってた結界の足し引きか。
I feel like these rules make a lot more sense in Japanese. Designated based on the value that the game master gives their life, and fundamentally a sorcerer will be worth 5, while non-sorcerer will be worth 1. But a stronger you can get more points for a bigger target. Okay. We know 6 and 7. What is 8?
相則に原則ってごちゃってすんな。伏黒？
いや、天元様、ゲームマスターっていうのは
各プレイヤーに1体ずつつく式神、小金。小金も正確に言えばゲームマスターではなく窓口だ。ゲームマスターは死滅回遊のプログラムそのものと思った方がいい。
なるほど。
That sucks a lot. Culling game system itself as a game master. Because at this point, you could have been like, if you kill the game master, the game ends because you don't have anyone to, arbitrate the rules. So, and a lot of the rules are dependent on the game master. If the game master does not exist anymore, the game would fall apart.
ゲームマスターはし
But if the system is the game master, we can't kill the system. Maybe?
滅回遊のプログラムそのものと思った方がいい。
なるほど。
追加
Hmm?
か。すでにあるルールを消すのはなしかな。
遠回しに否定ならいけるかもしれませんね。
Correct.
これありか。
だよな。判断基準があっち任せすぎる。
It also stipulates significantly hinder. So you could increase like the points that kills give as example. So you can add more rules. I assumed you could just extend the culling game for longer duration, which doesn't really do much. Because the culling game is just to get more power for the warm-up.
いや、ある程度は公平な判断が見込めるはずだ。すでにプレイヤーにここまでのルールを敷いているんだ。呪術的にはこれ以上賢弱に利益が偏ることはない。
8. Players who do not show a change in points within 19 days. Oh. This feels tagged on. It feels like this technique this rule should have been before 6. What they could do, they could add a rule what stripping in the technique really means.
また人を殺さなきゃいけないのか。
いや、いくつか考えがある。
You do not show a change of points. You could add a rule that gives you points for something else. That would not interfere with the game rules. Like usage of curse techniques gives you points.
とりあえず情報は整理できた。
The main problem is you need 100 points first. But then you could, what I would do in that case would add rules that give me more points. To add rules, to then add more rules on top.
あとはそれぞれの役割。ユキさんと長宗はここに残って天元様の護衛。私はまず全員家に戻って呪具の回収。サトルが封印されて間もなく光線機構の呪具はカモ家と全員家が持ち出してすっからかん。だが恵みが全員家の当主になった。
後で説明する。
おかげで全員家の機構は漁り放題。で、その前に天元様。
分かっている。組谷十三のアトリエだ。
Who? Also, Maki has a similar, pact as Megumi's dad, but seemingly not as strong.
助かります。用が済んだらパンダ探して海遊の平定に協力する。ユータは？
僕は早速コロニーに入って海遊に参加するよ。積木さんや伏黒くんたちが海遊に参加する前に少しでも情報を集めたい。積木さんや伏黒くんたちが海遊に参加する前に少しでも情報を集めたい。
すいません。
また単独行動だけど、万が一身内で潰し合うことがないように。それから積木さんに何かあった時のために近場のコロニーは避けるね。結界で電波が断たれるかもしれないからしばらく連絡取れないかも。
もし次俺がスカナと変わったら迷わず殺す。
Oh. Hmm.
言ってる場合か。大 大丈夫だ。そん時は俺が死んだ後、しっかり殺してもらえ。
いや、そうならないためにさ。
先輩。
ああ、お前らは予定通り金次のとこ行け。
Should I know all these names? Who's Kinji Hakari?
ケンジ？
係金次、停学中の3年生だよ。
今はとにかく人手が足んねえ。何が何でも借り出せ。
その人強いの？
村っ気があるけど、乗ってる時は僕より強いよ。
Stronger than you? Alone or with Rika? Also, you know, this is like a killing game. I don't know if you want to take someone in that is just going to kill.
それはない。
What the fuck is that? 12 years ago, I do like there is translation. Fuji Senin interferes, Amando Riku murdered, the Star Plasma vessel. Guard Fate, Six Eyes, October 31, Gatoro sealed. Assimilate Tengen, assimilation failed. Tengen's evolution become a target and curse. Okay, assimilation with people aside from Star Plasma vessel becomes possible. On the left, we have year ago death, obtain curse manipulation, absorb Mahito, obtain Idol transfiguration, turn mankind through all Japan into sorcerers, not working. Absorb Tengen with curse spirit manipulation, the Culling game, gold warm up for assimilation. Assimilate with mankind. Quality, modern sorcerer incarnate, sorcerer idol transfiguration. Those whose curse technique awakens have to fight against modern sorcerers under the Culling game rules, rule forcing them to fight. Stock up cursed energy. 10 colonies throughout Japan. Use stocked up cursed energy to move the barrier designed to ferry the people to Japan to the other side. Force to cross to the other side. Warm up. So he has a barrier in place that is absorbing the curse energy. Can we add a rule that the curse energy is going to the winner or something like that? So it doesn't go to the barrier? Because it's not part of the rules. Free Satoru. Obtain Prison Realm. Kenjaku possess. Tengen possess. Open Prison Realm. Can't do without the front gate to force it open. We don't have the inverted spear. We don't have the black rope. We can use the angel. Rescue Tsumiki and reluctant players. Consume 100 points to add a rule. Add a rule allowing escape from the Culling game. Persuade players with 100 points and no intention of adding a rule. Oh. So instead of getting 100 points ourselves, we find someone who has 100 points and convince them to add the rule, which most likely is going to end up them adding a rule that does not allow anyone to escape anymore. Can curses take place in this game? What does someone stop that Kenjaku has, assigned to go in, get 100 points, and just add rules that he couldn't add before? He may have not been able to allow to add a rule that that does not allow escape, because he already had all these rules, and you can't add so many unfavorable rules in a pact. It has to be somewhat balanced. So he just brings someone in that gets 100 points and adds rules that he wanted to add but could not. Federal Gojo destroyed, Migen Okutsu Fate to find, technique that extinguishes all curse techniques. Okay, Ga Tengu recruit help, Itadori and Fushiguro. Kutsu goes ahead alone. Maki goes retrieve Yuzo Kumiya's cursed tools. Go to Zenon's clan's Forbidden Vault. Meet up with Panda Boy. As information, participate in the Culling game, remain in the tombs. This episode was a lot of exposition. A lot of laying the groundwork. To be honest, some of the parts felt a little bit confusing. One of the big parts I still am questioning is how did then Jakku knew or know that Tengen would evolve in a way that makes it more susceptible to curse manipulation and makes it possible for him to assimilate anyone apart from the star vessel, plasma vessel.
調査ありがとう助かった
死ぬなよ。
泣いてんの？
I'm assuming this is where the Culling game starts.
あざした高田いつまでそないしとんねんやめやこっちまで新規さなるわ
I'm assuming he's a sorcerer or got one of the techniques.
お前いくつやったっけ
Is this a movie?
ほなもうやめてまえこの業界遅咲きのやつようわからんきっかけで急に売れるやつぎょうさんおるでもそいつらは急におもろなったわけやないもともとおもろかったけど埋もれてただけやねんお前そうちゃうやろ東京がああなって悪いことはお前にできる向いてること
So it is not a movie.
俺は嫌いやなかったで高場のネタ
ケンさん
あいつもお前も勘違いしとるおもろなくても売れるやつは売れんねん
一発屋的な話っすか
ちゃうわずっと売り続けるやつには2種類おんねんずっとおもろいやつとずっと自分のことおもろいと勘違いできるやつや
I mean, sure. If you have the confidence, that can carry a lot.
お前はどっちや Okay. 70-30. We know someone who had that. It feels like we get some repeats of cursed techniques, which I do question. We know that you can inherit them, but there are some cursed techniques that appear every now and then. Similar to like the assholes we had in the first two episodes has the same techniques as the leader of the Zenon clan, the 24 frames manga technique. He seemingly has the 7-3 technique. I'm assuming that is the example. We know Megumi's technique was used by someone who fought against a 6 Eyes Infinite combo, and both of them died. So there are some techniques that appear every now and then. Oh, that's it. Okay. Anything? Okay. So this is just a setup. We get a bunch of information. I am unsure about a lot of it. Gonna be honest. Some of it is a little bit questionable. I am, interested in where this is going to go. However, I am rewatching again the first season, and I have to, acknowledge that there's a lot of groundwork that got built in season 1. You see from the very beginning, Geto had his scars, that later on you find out why he has that. You get talk about Yuta the whole time, even though he was not there at the time, but it was groundwork for later on, the movie and now. So I am assuming there's a lot of these elements are going to become very important in the future. The simple thing about changing the rules, we are going to get back to that a lot, I assume. I'm also imagining we get some answers regarding why Kenjaku knows the evolution path of Tengen. Maybe it was something that happened already once. So I imagine it is going to pay off. It is a very difficult episode, I would say, for someone as smooth-brained as me. Some of it. So the overall plan is we have the curse techniques, we have the idol transfiguration. We use those two to take control of Tengen, who now is similar to a curse and is able to assimilate with anyone, to then transform all of Japan into sorcerers. However, we don't have the energy. So we have the Culling game, where a lot of people die, and we had this here, and the cursed energy that is here. The cursed energy that is absorbed by the barrier for the Culling game, we can then use to make our plan real and evolve all of humankind. I don't know, move the barriers designed to ferry the people to Japan, from Japan to the other side. So don't really know what that means, forced to cross to the other side, cursed. But that is just a warm-up, so the assimilation works better. Again, I just have to take some of it at face value because I am unsure. But essentially, Culling game is all so we can get the big goal, assimilate all of Japan with Tengen. That is the end goal. Culling game is helping for that. The rest doesn't really matter until the show decides it matters again. Then I am assuming we are going to get a flashback. Okay. Interesting. Again, very exposition heavy episode though. A little bit, not like something. I don't feel like we had something like this in Jujutsu Kaisen before. A very heavy exposition. But okay, let's hope this pays off in the next couple episodes.